Andrew McCART, IFL TV. Let's say someone else there. Listen, we're here in Liverpool. Jack Catterall just beat an absolute legend in Jorge Linares. I mean, first 2 rounds were a little bit cagey, but he seemed to find his groove in the other rounds leading up to 12th.
Yeah, of course. It was a more of a chess match than it wasn't as exciting as I maybe thought it was going to be. I expected Linares to come and take more chances and sort of try and get the win because at the stage of his career now, it was the opportunity for him to try and gate crash a world title shot again. But he didn't take as many risks as I thought he would, and then. Jack started to get into a rhythm in the sort of middle part of the fight. You heard him a few times. Every now and again, he'd come out with that explosive right hand or that check left hook, and you could see he's still dangerous. And I feel for the fans because I'm sure they would have liked it to be a bit more exciting. But I said to him, listen, don't take too many chances because he's still dangerous. This guy. One shot can change it all. So he was nice and disciplined, solid performance, and we move on.
Jack Herman, the 5th round, with a good backhand right down the pipe. Jorge sort of staggered back a little bit, but Jack seemed to, I don't know if he disguised it quite well, Jorge, because he sort of went back and then Jack didn't jump on him too soon, straight away, but it was that sort of lull there.
He seemed like a little delayed reaction, and then when Jack realised, he sort of jumped on him and the bell went and saved him a little bit. But there was a couple of times where he sort of caught him with that nice short one too. But Linares is a clever fighter. If you sort of keep the same patterns or the same punch patterns and he reads it very well and then starts to drop those counters. So he had to keep changing his patterns, keep changing his position, and technically it was very, very clever from Jack what he did. He stayed structured, stayed disciplined. A couple of times he was leaning over his front foot a little bit, and then Linares would sort of check left hook him. So, but overall, I'm happy with the performance.
Well, that's it. You needed that win because. I said to you on Thursday, it's a Monday morning question, what's next for him? Yeah. Now I can ask you, he's got the win, what is next for him? There was a lot of noise made in that ring about a Josh Taylor rematch, and then Josh Taylor's also been on Twitter as well this evening saying, he said something along the lines, couldn't finish a 38-year-old and he couldn't finish a Sunday roast, something along them lines. So he's been on Twitter as well. It seems right now that the British public are engrossed in this rivalry that them two have, and I think world title on the line or not, this is a huge fight.
Listen. First and foremost, I want Jack to be a world champion, and outside of that, of course, the next big fight, if he's not a world title, is Josh Taylor. Everyone's talking about it. There'll be that. When you sort of set out on your path, and when you're a boxing fan, you start boxing, you sort of envision yourself being a world champion, but you want to be involved. You have this idea of being involved in a rivalry. I grew up. My hero was Nigel Benn, so. Ben and Eubank was the big rivalry, so I adored him. So Jack v Taylor has got the story behind it, and like I say, if we can't get him a world title shot next, then there's no bigger fight than that for Jack than Josh Taylor.
Manchester, Glasgow.
Oh come on, it's got to be Manchester now, hasn't it? We've been up there before, and if it's a matchroom show, which I'm assuming it is, and Jack should get sort of home-ish territory, so Manchester's the closest big arena to him. So yeah, Manchester Arena. I'd say so anyway.
I said to you as well, reference the HaneyPrograis fight, would you jump on a plane for a scouting mission? You said, listen, I've already paid for it. Is that still going to be the case? Is that still going to be, in case that fight goes, you're going to jump on over there to San Francisco and watch that fight?
Absolutely. It's sort of a no-brainer for me that there is in-house matchroom fighters. Obviously, Haney's not an actual matchroom fighter, but he's boxing with him now. They've done a deal for this fight, so if Haney comes through, then surely that sort of would make sense. But and Jack looking not explosive tonight and sort of doing a destruction job on Linares might entice people to take the fight, because sometimes you can look too good for your own good and then no one really wants to fight you, whereas it was a solid performance, and some of the subtleties what he does in there you don't really catch on the TV, so you never know, it might open some doors for him. But I'd rather him fight the winner of Prograis and Haney, definitely. But
is that your number one choice, Jimmy?
Yeah. Definitely, because whoever wins that fight for me is the best in the division, or would be regarded as the best, and I want Jack to fight the best. But you can't deny the fact that the Josh Taylor fight is huge.
You mentioned there about the non-explosive performance. Do you think, as a coach, that's good that he didn't get that explosive performance, because now people may want to fight Jack, i.e. the Haneys and the Prograis, but that explosive performance, it grabs the fans, and doesn't it? And it makes the fans talk and Twitter and all that. So as a coach, where are you sitting on it?
It's catch-22. It's probably my fault because I'm his coach, so my job is to get him to win the best way he can. And so I'm asking him not to take as many risks, and maybe he would have took a few more, maybe he'd have got away with it, maybe he wouldn't, and that's the point. So I'd rather hedge on the side of caution because he's my fighter and I want to get him through it unscathed. So if anyone's got any grudge to bear about that, you better blame me.
Well, listen, talking about blaming you, I'm going to talk about AKFI, the towel and stuff like that. Obviously, just a wee little word on Akib. He seems very distraught. I seen you give him a big, massive hug there before you done the interview with Ali Drew. I mean, for a young fighter, he's still got loads of room to improve and come back as well. So just a quick word on Akib fighter. Yes.
Mate, listen, he wasn't his night tonight. You've got to take your hat off to Bellotti. He performed well. Akib didn't. Being honest, it was the sort of flattest performance I've seen him. We've got to go and address that. The reasoning behind it, was it a bit too early for him? Was there a bit too much pressure? Was it the weight? It's the first time he's made championship weight. So there's a few little questions. He's had 13 fights now. He was going in there with 12 fights. I love the kid. He's like my son. We're like family, and he was badly hurt, and I knew he wasn't going to recover in that minute. The end was near, and I wasn't going to see him get knocked out just for the sake of trying to come through, because he'd not sort of shown me anything in the fight before it which told me that he was going to be able to turn it around. So he lives to fight another day, and we'll come back, we'll rebuild, but it just wasn't his night tonight.
Listen, well done, Jamie, for a good night as well. And I'll see you in the next one, mate. Cheers. Thanks, Jamie.